talking of various names for a Dakota, the one I always remember it by was we used to call it the Vomit Comet because it's highly unstable at low altitude, so it was a little bit rough after a while. And I can see there's a number of people here who've probably been around a bit longer than I have. So some of you may even have flown in a Dakota in your younger days and enjoyed the experience. I've also had the unusual privilege of actually exiting one of these aircraft while it was in flight, and I have to admit that's quite an exciting experience. So to me, I have a great deal of affection for Dakotas. To me, they're the grand old ladies of the skies. As Ian has already mentioned, extremely versatile aircraft. They did just about everything you could think of, and many of them, I don't have the exact figures, but there are still many flying around the world, especially if you go to South America. There's quite a few drug barons are still flying them because of their capacity and reliability. And certainly the Dakota itself, its war career did not end with the Second World War. They were used in the Korean conflict. They were used in Vietnam, where they were well known as Puff the Magic Dragon, and certainly continue to be used in various conflicts, including those in Africa. The Zimbabwean Air Force only retired its Dakotas in 1997, I think it was, and they'd been continuously flying. One of those that I travelled on, they had a little plaque in the doorway which announced that this particular model had flown at Arnhem. The crew had great delight in telling us not to play with the paint because it's the only thing that held the aircraft together. So back to our girl here. We acquired her in December 2019 from Beck's Museum after the late Sid Beck passed away. And we disassembled it and brought it back here on a trailer. As you can see, the wings are still off, mainly because of the restriction of space that we have here, but also just makes it easier to get in and have a look at some of the damage that needs to be repaired. Now, one of the major problems we had because of this aircraft did crash was when we were moving it, the wheels actually were hanging below the trailer. So we had to try and pull them up. And that turned out to be a very exciting situation because they were stuck. So we had to use sledgehammers and all sorts of things to try and get the wheels up, and it took most of the day. So lots of sunburn, but lots of, as Ian had said, good comradeship, and most of the people that were in that group doing it are no longer here. They've moved on to other things. A number of them were pilots who have now been promoted and are flying wide-body jets. For those who have flown in a Dakota, one of the things I did discover, which I'm glad I didn't know at the time, is that the tail is only held on with 4 bolts, all of which are not much thicker than my finger. And when I think how we used to bounce around in the air, the thought that it's held together with 4 bolts, as I said, I'm glad I only found out about it now. So one of the things Ian said is we're a volunteer organisation, and we're always looking for people to help. It's not like you have to be here 24/7. You can come once a month, you could come once every 2 months. And you may be sitting there going, well, I know nothing about aircraft. Okay, one of the first jobs I did when I came here was cleared out the back of this aircraft. And I very diligently collected all these little brown, light brown knobs because I thought they were to do with the control panel. Somebody pointed out to me that they were actually macadamia seeds and were a bit pointless. So as you can see, my skills are next to zero. In fact, my wife usually says, whatever you do, don't let him near a drill, and even don't let him anywhere near a welding rod, because I tend to weld myself to whatever I'm doing. So I leave that up to people like Sam who have the skill. But anything we can do, you can see on here there's a number of like silver patches. So we've had to locate water leaks. This aircraft filled up quite often. And we've slowly worked through it. If those who've been inside will see that we started stripping off the paint and working through that. There is always something to do here. And we are steadily seeing this. Really grateful to the guys who brought the other Dakota cockpit. It's challenging, but when we look in there and we look at it, we go, that's our vision. That's what we're going to see, and as Ian said, that's going to be the whole aircraft. Whether I'm still here to see it finished, it's going to be debatable, but that's where we're going, and we're going to get it done. So it's a challenge. We're doing lots of work. Money, of course, is always something we are chasing. We do a lot of grants, a lot of applications for grants. In particular, I should mention the Copeland Trust, who are the people that gave us a substantial amount of money that enabled us to acquire this aircraft. Individuals, Matt Wetzel, if you look on the other side of the Dakota, you'll see a series of steers. Through Matt's generous contributions, we were able to buy the steel and build our own steers. These other two pieces of equipment that you see that are painted yellow, these are actually genuine Second World War artifacts that have been found on neighbouring farms. So where they've been positioned is actually what they would have looked like on this airfield where they're removing the engines. So we have a lot to do. And those who haven't wandered around now, please be welcome to walk around. There's plenty of people who can help you out.